All right, let's jump right into this explainer of Tyrell Sage's memoir, The Silent Goodbye. Today, we are exploring a profoundly gripping story of incredible resilience in the face of sudden, overwhelming expatriate hardships. This is a story about finding yourself entirely alone in a foreign land and the sheer force of will it takes to survive when absolutely everything you know is suddenly stripped away. I want you to imagine this for a second. It's a terrifying premise, isn't it? What actually happens when you lose your livelihood, your visa status, and then boom, you suddenly face a life-threatening medical emergency in a foreign country, all within the span of a single week? I mean, most of us would completely crumble under that kind of pressure. But Tyrell Sage's account shows us a radically different response to a high-stakes, double crisis that strikes entirely out of nowhere.
Section 1. The Unexpected Dismissal.
True chaos rarely just knocks on the front door, right? It usually crashes a perfectly normal day. To really understand the shock here, you have to look at the contrast. So it's the morning of January 13th, 2025. Tyrell arrives at her nanny job for the Luigi family in Dominic Hills, Dubai, bringing what she describes as her beautiful smile. It's a totally routine morning. She says hello to her boss, Martina, grabs her things, and starts cleaning the windows. And then, out of nowhere, she's called downstairs for a sit-down meeting with both parents. Just like that, they tell her that her full-time services are no longer needed. The family just felt keeping her wasn't worthwhile for them anymore. In less than a year of building a strong bond, she was given roughly 60 days to find a new employer. Now, despite the absolute crushing emotional weight of this, she and her boss even shed tears together, Tyrell instantly leans on her core philosophy. She actually calls it a peaceful breakup. She consciously chooses not to dwell on the negativity, relying instead on her relentless positive mental attitude, or what she calls her PMA. She viewed this not as a permanent failure, but as a temporary pass, even asking the Luigis to help her find a new family. Section 2. A race against time. But man, the universe was not done testing her just yet. Take a look at the dizzying, chaotic speed at which her life turned completely upside down. On January 13th, she loses her job. Just 5 days later, on January 18th, while sitting alone at her employer's house, she experiences this sharp, excruciating pain in her abdomen and back. She has to rush to Astor Clinic that very night, and by January 26th, she is literally on an operating table. It's a masterclass in how quickly an expat's stability can just completely evaporate. And the medical stakes here were just off the charts. She meets with a gynecologist, Dr. Asta Mishra, who delivers a really grim diagnosis. Tyrell has a high percentage uterine polyp. Dr. Mishra makes it crystal clear that this growth is increasing daily, and it could cause death if not surgically removed immediately. For Tyrell, just hearing the word surgery drops her stomach to her backbone. She had never had surgery before. But her immediate, terrifying thought wasn't actually just about dying. It was this deep fear of an early death that would leave her children back in Kenya in complete misery.
But look, knowing you need a life-saving surgery and actually getting it, those are two very different things, especially when you're an expat. Imagine sitting at home in excruciating pain, knowing a literal ticking time bomb is inside you, just waiting for corporate insurance to give you the green light. The agonizing bureaucracy she faced was intense. We're talking blood tests, pelvic scans, and then just waiting. Dr. Mishra had to contact Tyrell's agency, Tadbir, to get insurance approval for the procedure. With her face dull with worry, all Tyrell could do was hope that approval arrived in time.
Section 3. Surviving the surgery. So the approval finally comes through. As she travels to Oster Hospital in Menkul late at night on January 25th, accompanied by a supportive friend named Evans, she just keeps repeating her emotional anchor. She just couldn't afford to die. Her children, Stanislaus and Luvi, were her driving force. She much preferred being physically away from them in Dubai, working hard to provide for their future, rather than leaving them permanently motherless. That profound maternal instinct is exactly what pushed her through those hospital doors. Okay, so once she's admitted, things do not exactly go smoothly. The sheer terror of the situation takes a massive physical toll. She's admitted before midnight, totally starved and parched. By the morning of the surgery, her heart is racing so fast that nurses actually have to hook her up to more than 10 ECG wires across her chest, legs, and hands. And then something really wild happens. When they try to put her to sleep, her body's extreme anxiety actively resists the initial doses of anesthesia. The nurses and doctors are absolutely shocked to find her wide awake, with eyes as sharp as a cat, when she definitely should have been unconscious. What was supposed to be a standard 20-minute procedure ends up stretching into an hour and a half. But guess what?
she makes it. She captures this triumphant moment. She wakes up, looking at the clock showing 10:09 a.m. She realizes she's survived. It is a new dawn. And in a beautiful, honestly kind of hilarious display of her relentless drive, almost the very first thing she does upon waking up from major surgery is pitch her newly published book to the bewildered medical staff. She literally tries to type Amazon.com into a nurse's phone with her weak fingers. Now that is the ultimate definition of a positive mental attitude.
Section 4. The next chapter.
Getting through the surgery, that was only half the battle. Now comes a physical recovery, combined with a desperate leap into a new job to secure her rapidly expiring visa. To stay in Dubai, Tyrell takes a position with the Ariana family. And the contrast between her past and present work environments is jarring. She describes her time with the Luigi family as a fantasy that was real. But the Ariana household? Incredibly strict. This new environment tests her absolute physical and mental limits, while her body is literally still actively bleeding and recovering from surgery.
This new reality is just brutal. She is working grueling shifts from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. She is navigating very strict cleaning routines alongside a no-nonsense coworker named Julie. But by far the hardest part is caring for an 8-year-old boy named Alex, who is hyperactive and really struggles with emotional regulation. During her first few weeks, while still healing from a major uterine procedure, let's remember, Tyrell endures physical outburst from the child. We're talking several bites and actual blows to her chest. It pushes her right to the brink of quitting. Her joy is temporarily stripped away.
So why not just walk away? Well, it all came down to a ticking clock of exactly 28 days. That was the grace period she had left to change her canceled visa status from her previous employer. If she quit or if she failed to secure this new contract, she faced immediate deportation back to Kenya. The hoops she had to jump through are honestly mind-boggling. With the March 6th deadline looming and tensions running high with her new boss, she had to endure an extreme airport-to-airport visa run. She exited through Sharjah to Bahrain and came right back just to secure a temporary 2-month visit visa. It was a frantic, high-wire act of sheer survival, trying to balance her health, a demanding new job, and the highly unforgiving UAE immigration system.
Section 5. Leaving to live. So you really have to ask yourself, how do you overcome this kind of profound trauma and actually use it to empower yourself and others? Why was Tyrell able to withstand all of this? Well, the answer lies in her past. 15 years prior, Tyrell survived severe domestic abuse from the father of her children. She reflects that being neglected and abused during the absolute worst period of her life actually forged the armor she needed to survive this Dubai crucible. As she puts it, if he hadn't treated her so badly, she never would have developed the mindset of leaving to live and making a true change in her life. And she absolutely turned that pain into immense power. Today, Tyrell Sage is a published author. Her book, The Silent Goodbye, acts as a beacon of hope. Interestingly, she even bonds with her strict new coworker, Julie, only to discover that Julie, too, is a survivor whose husband nearly killed her years ago. Tyrell realizes that her core mission is to inspire women globally, reminding them that they do not have to stay trapped in toxic situations out of fear or shame. She is living proof that you can escape.
Throughout this whole ordeal, Tyrell relied heavily on the kindness of strangers, people like Evans, Moses, and Zipporah, who kept her company in the hospital, and even the readers who bought her book. She shares this beautiful, really poetic wisdom. If dusk could dismiss dawn, we could be in darkness until today. It's a profound reminder to embrace the unknown, to give people chances, and to trust that a new dawn will always, always follow the darkness. Which brings us to our final thought for today's explainer. Just look at Tyrell Sage. Fired, facing a life-threatening tumor, navigating grueling bureaucracy, and a highly demanding new job, all while being thousands of miles away from her children. Yet she maintained a positive mental attitude and literally wrote a book about it. So I want to leave you with this provocative question. Are you allowing your current setbacks to define you, or are you using them to fuel your own new dawn? Think about it. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll see you on the next one.